Hey y'all, so in this episode, okay, I've been watching a little bit too much Netflix here. In this little video here, I'm going to be going through my eyeshadow palettes. I'm sorry, the lighting is just a little bit off. I started filming it at a really weird point in the day where it's usually sunny, and it kind of wasn't. So everyone knows like half the palettes that I use anyway though. So anyway, without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and jump into it, and I'm just gonna show y'all like what kind of palettes I have, which ones I'm getting rid of because it's kind of a lot of them, and thanks to Jaclyn Hill, I'm now gonna be buying way more of them. So anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. Alrighty, so we're just gonna go ahead and start. I've got a lot of eyeshadow palettes. I got a lot in here. I think I've actually gotten rid of some as well, which is the sad part. There's tons in here, a lot of like little ones and everything. Here's my Natasha Denona palette. I have a lot up here. The ones that I probably use the most, or at least sort of like fit in here. And then I have a lot of bigger like statement palettes through here. So we're just going to focus on this bad boy because I feel like most of my not my giveaway, but like my trash pile is going to come from this. This is the Morphe 9A palette. It's super pretty, and I actually use this and travel with it quite a lot. So we'll be keeping that. This palette is the Zulu by Juvia's Place. This palette is so good. Plus it was dirt cheap, so I am going to keep it. Plus I use it a whole lot. If I ever need like a really bold color, I always go for my Juvia's Place ones, or the Sephora Pro. Alright, another super good one is the Anastasia Soft Glam palette. I will be keeping this. These colors are beautimous. And I also really love these two in particular. These shades are gorgeous. My favorite shades ever, but I really like these, especially for smoky eyes. I know it says soft glam, but honestly, I go kind of heavy-handed with this palette. This is one of my newest, one of my most favorites. This is the Alamar palette, or excuse me, this is Alamar Cosmetics. This is their Reina, I am going to butcher this name, Reina del Caribe? I don't know. I'll put the spelling down below because I can't remember the name. This is like a little paper insert. This palette is amazing. You have to get it if you like bold colors. If you like, anyway, these are just, this palette was just so good. I am absolutely in love with it. I use it constantly, even for natural looks. Like I just pop a little bit of Cocoa Taxi in the crease, and then I put a little bit of whatever this shade is. I can't pronounce anything, so I feel like I just need to do myself a favor and just shut up. But this palette is absolutely amazing. Never get rid of it. This is the Morphe Kathleen Lights palette. And this palette is, first of all, ridiculously old. I have worn the crap out of this color, and I use like these two shades in particular. I probably use these three shades right here more than anything else ever. I don't tend to touch these three very much, but I will dip into the black, and a lot of times it's cool brown just because I don't have a lot of those colors. This is a super good palette, but I do need to test it out because it is so old. I'm kind of afraid that the colors may not be A1 anymore. This is the Wicked Dreams NYX palette, and originally I got it because I thought it was so pretty, and I was really trying to work on like drugstore makeup and stuff. I literally never use this unless I'm using it for my brows, and I use these two shades. It's almost like purpley brown, and then this like really cool brown up here. Those are literally the only two shades I ever use in it. So I may end up getting rid of that. We'll put that up there. I got this strictly for the packaging, and honestly I may just keep it because of the packaging. It's the Pirates of the Caribbean Lorac eyeshadow palette. They collabed and created this super pretty eyeshadow palette. I may end up giving this to a friend. I spent literally full price, and this thing was not cheap, but I almost never use it. The colors are just kind of, I don't know how to describe it. I'm gonna put this in my testing thing. I may just keep it just because the packaging looks so cool. I don't know. This is the Tarteist Pro by Tarte palette. I adore this palette. This is what I travel with a good bit, and I also use this when I went to New York, and it smells delish. I will be keeping this one. This is the Essence, I believe it's All About Bronze, I think is the name. These are pretty, but I also don't use these as much as I thought I would either. They're extremely pigmented though, but they're almost a little powdery at the same time. I really, really like these shades. I'm gonna put them in my testing one. Even though this is super cheap and everything, and I was just trying to find like more things for a drugstore tutorial, I almost never really use it either. So I'm just gonna put it in my maybe pile. This is my ColourPop Dream Street Kathleen Lights ColourPop. I just said that like 8 times. I love this palette, especially this rose gold up here. That color and this color and this color are my favorite 3. And this one is really unique. I don't wear it that often, but I need to. I'm obsessed, like in general, with the colors in this palette because they're different. And these 2 rose gold shades are so intense and so pretty. Definitely keeping that. Plus it's by Kathleen, so you know. I got this in a BoxyCharm, and honestly, I really, really do like it. This is Studio Makeup On The Go. These have these like pre-opened. This is like an all purple palette. I don't see any other name than On The Go, so I don't know if that's the name of it. These colors are really super pretty, and they're different. I may end up putting this in the maybe pile because I put it inside of a drawer and I honestly forgot I even had it. So that pretty much says right there that like I don't use it that much. But it is super pretty, and I really don't have a lot of cool toned eyeshadow palettes. So I'm gonna put this in the maybe pile. I may keep it around for winter and fall because that's pretty much the only time that I ever wear colors like this. But anyway, it is super, super pretty. This is the Pure Soiree Diaries. I'm pronouncing that wrong too, I bet. This palette is pretty, and I really, really like using this shade right here, Private Party. And Socialite is actually really pretty too. I've used these a couple times. They're not anything like super, super special. It's not a bad palette, but I feel like I never ever reach for it. But it would be a good travel palette. I'm gonna put this in my tester, but I may just give this to one of my friends because I feel like she would use these shades. I feel like she only ever uses these shades. So I'm gonna put this in my maybe pile. The Milani Bare Necessities. This is an everyday palette. This is good, but also again, it doesn't have enough shades to make it interesting for me. And it doesn't have just basic necessity shades. Like 2 of these browns are kind of shimmery, and I do not like that. This one's way less shimmery. I think that might be the only matte besides this. But this is shimmery. I don't like this cheap gold color. And this is a pretty highlight, but it's almost a little too white. So I may just end up getting rid of this as well. This is the Golden State of Mind ColourPop eyeshadow palette. I do not use this that frequently, but when I have, it's been like a really simple look, and I just like wash over with like one of these glitter shades all over my lid, put on some mascara, and put on like a really nude lip or something. And I've gotten so many compliments. I've worn this color, and it's like super duochrome. You can't really tell in the pan, but this color's stunning. This color is so pretty too. And I feel like my finger has dug in these 2 shades the most besides these 2, but I don't remember what these look like. I keep this mainly for like a statement look where I just do like a simple wash of color. Otherwise, I don't really reach for it, but I do want to keep this. This is the Element of Surprise by ColourPop palette. I think this was speaking my name because of this hot pink. I thought that was so fun, but I can't remember. I mean, it's kind of coming off good on my finger, but I don't remember ever even creating a look with that color. So I may put this in my trying. I don't remember. Honestly, I really do like the colors though. I don't know. We'll see. Oh my gosh, this palette. First of all, Sonia Kashuk, or yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it. This was one of my first eye palettes I ever had. And it's so dark, but it's actually really good. I need to put this in my trying little pile because I do remember really, really loving this. Like, this color is so pretty. And I think this one broke because I don't remember digging my brush into it that much. But then this color is really pretty too. They don't sell these anymore either, so it's not like I could just go and pick one up again. Because I think they got rid of like all their makeup. So I'm going to put this in my trying little bin, but it may be so old because this was literally, I think it's probably been with me for like 5-6 years maybe. I don't know. It's called the Jewel of the Eye eyeshadow palette, so we'll see. Oh my goodness. This is also from a BoxyCharm. I actually really ended up liking this palette, surprisingly. But I think it's one of those like little miniature palettes that I like never used again. Like, this shade was so nice and buttery. And like the rest of these shades were pretty, and you can make like really basic, simple eyes. But as much as I like it, and as much as the formula just seems like really creamy, it's almost like some of the eyeshadows blend away to just nothing. Like, this shade is really super pretty. I remember really liking that one. But I literally have never picked it up again since like the day I used it, so I'll probably get rid of that one as well. This is the ColourPop I Think I Love You palette. And this one is super pretty, and for some reason I always think of like New Year's when I think of these two. I do want to create some more looks with this, so I will be keeping this. So somebody once gave me a Trish McAvoy eyeshadow palette. This is like a gel eyeliner or something random. But these shadows are really nice. But for some reason I never used it. So I may just put this in my makeup kit actually, because I think it's maybe been used like twice. And these are like really, really good eyeshadows from what I've heard and everything else. It's just, I need a little bit more something else with my palettes, and this just doesn't speak my name that often, but I think I'll just put it in my makeup kit, honestly. This is the Naked Cosmetics. I honestly wanted this so bad. This has the prettiest colors, but that screams fall to me. So I'll probably just keep this around for the fall, and if I don't use it in the fall, then that's when I'll get rid of it. It is a really good little palette, and they're super pigmented. I just never used it. I hate taking this out because when I got it, the black had broken in it. So every time I move it, it just etches black all over everything. I adore this palette. This palette is so amazing. I will never get rid of this unless it just like dies. But look at the black. Oh my gosh. It's like completely destroyed. And I'm way too lazy to figure out. I do need to put like eye drops or alcohol or something, but I don't remember it working last time. I'm sorry, this is so dark and the sheen is horrible, but I don't want to take the plastic off or fear the black might explode. This palette is amazing. It has some of the prettiest colors. They're super pigmented, and all these crease shades are like ginormous pans, which is awesome because, you know, you always run out of those first. It's like a really smart idea. I'm obsessed with all of these, and I will never get rid of this. So beautiful. Alright, so to start off with, I'm going to be grabbing this Kat Von D Metal Mattes palette. I actually really, really, really like this palette. And this actually has the prettiest silver color. And these mattes are stunning. They're incredibly, incredibly pigmented though. So I will be keeping this just because it's a really good eyeshadow palette to play around with when I need like a really strong, intense color. This is the Anastasia Prism palette. This one is so good, and the colors are so different than what I have in my collection, or at least a lot of them. Like Sphere is so pretty. Osiris is actually kind of a letdown, and so was Throne, because I felt like they were not as pigmented as they are in the pan. But this shade Dimension and the shade, the shade Dimension, this one is stunning. I mean, this shade is like no other in my palette, and I love this, so I'll definitely be keeping this. A lot of these palettes are like basic necessities, basically, so are the most used. This is my Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. I really, really like this, especially these 3 shades. I pretty much mix and match. If I need a setting down color, I'll use Peaches and Cream. If I need an intense highlight, I'll mix Nectar and White Peach, and it becomes a really pretty color. And I've used these 2 constantly. I pretty much use them always together because one without the other is not as pigmented. I do need to go back in and check and see if this is as pigmented as I remember, because I think it may be starting to get ruined a little because it's so old. Look how beat up and horrible this thing looks. Oh, this is the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette. I've hit pan on only one, surprisingly, even though I've used this constantly. I use this thing all the time. I kind of chilled out in the past couple months, but I do really need to get back into it. I just love this palette so much. I will never get rid of it. This is another Anastasia palette. This is a Master palette by Mario. These colors, I use Fifth Avenue and Marina in Hollywood a lot when I'm looking for just a simple wash of color, especially if I'm really tan. I like to go really minimal on the eyes and just do like a shimmery shade. Bronx is super pretty as well, and then I use Isabel and Violetta, and I use those quite a bit in conjunction with other palettes that don't have like warm crease or like a warm for the brown for the outside, so I like to mix and match this with a lot of things. I used to be obsessed with this palette, and I thought that I was going to use it for like my wedding day and everything. Probably won't, because I fell in love with so many others now. I don't remember this having as little color payoff as it does now, and so I really need to check. This was also like one of the first eyeshadow palettes I ever got. So I just feel like the colors are not nearly as pigmented as they used to be. Like this one, I'm like digging in to get any sort of color. I don't know. I need to play around with it to see if it's even ruined or still like workable. This palette, this is the Subculture by Anastasia. I can totally see why a lot of people are really upset by this palette. I still like it. I think the colors are stunning. They scream fall to me. But a lot of them do not come off as they do in the pan. Like All Star to me does not look the same at all. Edge is super pretty, and so is New Wave. I think those are 2 very unique shades. And Roxy I was kind of disappointed in. I really do like peachy shades, but Roxy was just kind of meh for me. Axe is super pretty, and so is Rowdy, but those are also incredibly hard to blend out. But I do still like it, and I will be keeping this. I knew all of the negative whatever when I bought it, so I'm fine with it. This is my next little bin, and I think actually the final one, surprisingly. I just have so many eyeshadow palettes, I feel like. This is the Sephora Pro. This is just like the warm palette, I think. These shades are gorgeous, but I will say that these shimmers were such a disappointment. Like, I do not like the shimmers in this palette, and I will always reach for another palette when I want a shimmer. That being said, all the rest of these shades are really good. They blend out really super nice. I love them. I love the warm whatever. And I really do, I don't use this a lot. I love this shade right here. That's one of my favorites. But, one thing that I will say is I may actually end up putting this in my beauty kit, like my makeup kit, because I don't use it as much as I thought I would. I thought I was going to use this like every single day, and I think it's because I've slowly strayed away from doing a warm smoky eye every single time, and so I wasn't using this nearly as much as I thought I would. So it's either going to go in my makeup kit or it's going to stay with me. I'm not sure yet. So I'll just put this aside for now. This palette is actually, I got so much more use out of it than I thought I was, which is such a opposite reaction of the other Sephora Pro palette. This is the Sephora Pro editorial palette, and I've used this so many times for different looks. I love how intense, oh my gosh, this thing keeps going up. I love how intense all of these shades are. I love this shade. These 2 shades were really fun to work with, and these were as well. I really do like Jeffrey. It comes off like it does in the pan. And I don't even remember how these fared because they were so basic and neutral, but I have used these quite a bit and I really, really like them. I will definitely be keeping this because it's such a good palette. Morphe palettes. I believe this one is 35F. Their Fall into Frost one. I really like these colors and I think I've used a lot of this one. I need to put this in my trying again because I don't know if I want to keep this since I have so many that are similar. This is the Morphe 35K palette, I believe. It's their like coffee palette and I used to use this all the time, but I honestly kind of don't anymore. And the reason is the color payoff isn't that great and I feel like there's not a whole lot of variety with any of these. So I think I'm just gonna end up throwing this in the garbage because I think part of the reason is because it is so stinking old. So that will be going in the bin. Flint Hill palette is like by far one of my favorite palettes I've ever even used. So I'll definitely not be getting rid of this. I'm gonna keep it. I use it tons and tons and I still feel like I could get so many other looks out of it that I haven't done. So I'm gonna definitely keep this because it's one of my favorites. Same goes for the Masquerade Juvia's Place palette. I got this and I did not regret it one bit. These colors are stunning. They're extremely pigmented. The pan size is enormous and it was really super cheap. I can't pronounce half of the colors, but it's super cute and I'm gonna keep it. And finally, the last like 3 in my collection, I believe. I actually have a lot less palettes than I thought I did. This is the Nudie Patootie palette by Laura Lee. If you remember, I said in a video I kind of broke half of these by accident when I went traveling, and that's why it looks the way it does, but I will never get rid of this because it's super pretty. And I'm obsessed with all these like nudie shades and I love that these are so pigmented. They're seriously so amazing. I love this palette. It is a definite favorite. This is my Dominique Cosmetics Latte palette, which ironically is stained with coffee, if that's what I think it is, which I'm pretty sure it is. Looks exactly like my coffee. And this palette is super, super nice. I don't get a ton of use out of these 3. I use this one probably exclusively out of the 3. But these top shades, these mattes and everything, and these are pretty too, I just don't use them as much. I can get the prettiest look out of these eyes whenever I want something like super like smooth, super natural, but still like warm and pretty. And I really, really, really love how these blend. This is a really nice palette to use when I don't want anything too crazy on my eyes. And then finally, my Natasha Denona Star palette. I got this palette because I wanted to get something that was different than what I normally had. I do not have a lot of cool browns. I do not have a lot of pinks and purples and cool tones like that. To me, this screams just very, very cool toned. There's 1 or 2 shades in here that can go kind of warm, but I really got this just because I wanted something different and I'd heard about Natasha Denona for so long. These I'm obsessed with. They're so freaking beautiful. I don't use them probably as much as I should, but this is definitely a really super good palette and I'm keeping. One final thing that I just found, these like random things. This I think was actually one of my very first eyeshadow palettes. I just remember my friend getting this for me and it was like a loose pigment. I remember using the turquoise quite a bit. For some reason, turquoise eyeshadow's always been a favorite. Oh my gosh, I can't even open this. I don't even think they sell this anymore. But anyway, this one's definitely going in the trash. I can't even get it open. But these are the shades that were in there. One of my good friends gave it to me and I love it. But I gave this away. I thought I gave it away a really long time ago and I guess I didn't. So I'll just end up throwing this away. Well, or just dropping it. That's fine. This is the NYX Wicked Dreams. No, not Wicked Dreams. Stormy Skies. Why does this have like 8 names? The Stormy Skies Dreamcatcher palette. These colors were beautiful, but they were not what they were advertised, and so I'm going to be giving this away or just throwing it away. And then I found the Maybelline Real Rock Nudes. This is not pigmented at all. It was just kind of like muddied colors, so I may just end up throwing it away. I don't even know. Maybe someone will want to use it. But, and then this, I got this, and I literally have never used it. I'm going to put this in my trying pile, but it may just go out the window. This is the Nuance palette, Endless Eye Effects. And it's actually really pretty colors, but we'll see if I even use them. Hey y'all, that was my makeup collection, or I guess my eyeshadow collection, not my makeup collection. I cannot speak this morning. It's fine. So anyway, that was my collection. That's what I'm gonna kind of get rid of or try out some more, see if I actually really like them, or just give them away to friends and family and stuff like that. There's like 1 or 2 of the palettes that I'll actually end up throwing away because they're like older than dirt. And I know that the reason why they're not performing well is because they're so old. Please ignore my nails. I haven't done them. They match my eyeshadow though. Sort of. Not really. It's okay. So anyway, yeah, thank y'all so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And subscribe if you haven't. I would really like to reach 100 here soon. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.